Got it fixed. All right, so welcome. We back again, once again, time and time again, my friend. And this is just a quick market update live stream, just to go ahead and recap what happened this week in the market and what may potentially set up for next week as well. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, in between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be having this live stream. Just something brief until told otherwise by the chat. So we'll just keep it real short, going over the majors in the market, just looking at the USD currency and seeing what all it did this week and what the potential moves for next week could possibly be. Make sure you do go ahead and drop me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe with the post notifications turned on so you get notified whenever I do go live or post educational content here on this channel as well. And just drop a thumbs up for me consistently staying with these uploads and my upload schedule and live streaming schedule of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in between 3 and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's really appreciated. It helps me out and it's free for you. But let's go ahead and get right to it. We have Xau Usd from the monthly time frame. We've been speaking about this as well. If you've been keeping up with the live streams, previous structure, broken and close to the downside, coming back for the retracement. Could possibly see this act as structure resistance for a continuation to the downside. But once again, this is the monthly candle. Just because it is forming like this does not mean that that's the way it's going to close. There could be a possibility too, as well as there a false breakout of this area and then price continue to the upside. But if we drop down on lower time frames, we may be able to identify what opportunity would be the highest probability. But if we look at it on the weekly time frame, we are still below previous structure support that should act as resistance on this market. So we do have that on the weekly, but we are starting to come back for a retracement or exhaustion. We've also, in about an hour or so, we'll have printed the candle. If it closes like this, we'll have printed the candle that we want to see the next one fill in the wick. This is identified by this bullish body with this extended wick to the upside. On lower time frames, as you will see, it's just nothing but just an impulse, a retracement. And we're going to look for the next impulse because that is why the next candles want to fill in the wick. So if we drop down on the daily time frame, let's look and see what we have on Xau USD. And just exactly as I explained, we have a nice and easy break above structure, impulsing above all this structure, coming back for the retracement, coming to retest previous structure resistance that should now act as support, and a possible continuation to the upside is likely if we get the right retracement and the start of the continuation. So that could be a possible move going into next week. We also have Xau USD, which will be very, very similar. They are correlated. On the monthly, we have previous structure resistance that should act as support. We're starting to get the push to the upside as well. On the weekly, same thing. We have the candle that we want to see the next one fill in the wick. If it does close like this within the next hour, and if we do drop down to the daily time frame, you can see we've had a nice and easy break above structure, coming back for a retracement, retesting previous structure resistance that should now act as support. And from there, we want to see a move to the upside, just continuing the trend as identified as in the previous live stream as well. That's all we wanted to see, break above this area, come back, retest for the continuation to the upside. If we go to XBT USD monthly time frame, you can see that we have retested this area once, twice, thrice, and then we exploded to the upside, making moves to the upside, breaking structure as well. If we drop down to the weekly time frame, you can see that we are starting to create higher lows, and we're looking for a higher high to be created, which would put us in a good situation where we have a nice and easy pattern to go ahead and continue trading from in the future, all lining up. So we've had the move to the upside on the weekly, and if we drop down to the daily time frame, you can see we're starting to see some of the same things as well. We have this move to the upside, coming back for a retracement. Now this one isn't as clean as the other two, so I could still follow the other two pairs as well, XAG and Xau USD, to the upside, but it's just not as clean as those. So just wait for the market to provide us with something else. on US oil. We've spoken about it. Almost all these pairs are going to be spoken about previously, and they're not going to move as much because we're looking at the directional time frame. So if we look at this from the monthly time frame, as spoken about previously, we've had previous structure resistance that we want to see act as support. Now the monthly candle is still, forming. So even though we are getting the explosion to the upside exactly as we like to see, the candle may not close that way because we still have 25 days for it to go ahead and form. But if we look at it on the weekly time frame, we can see that we're starting to get a lot of momentum push out of this area, which is ideal for the strategy that we use. It's just simple market structure, man. We're moving to the upside, coming back for a retracement. This low here is higher, than this low. And from there, we want to see a high made that is higher than this high. Really simple. That's it. If we drop down to the daily time frame, you can see that we're starting to impulse to the upside very aggressively as well. If we get some retracement from there, we could look for the continuation to the upside and maybe even possibly look for the monthly TMCP as well to the upside for the target. So that could be really huge for this trade. We could see it move to the upside for quite some time now. If we slide down to Euro USD on the monthly time frame, we can see that we're pushing to the downside very aggressively, have been for a while, just the same things over and over and over. And if we look at it at the weekly time frame, we did have some retracement, but we came back and retested. After this move to the downside, we retested previous structure support, now acting as resistance, and it looks like we're starting to move to the downside once again, continuing trend. If we drop to the daily time frame, we can see that we did have a very aggressive exhaustion or retracement. We had some big candles taking up a lot of price in a few amount of candles, but we've been bearish for so long that this market was really just waiting and needed that pullback to happen, that retracement. But as we are now, we are just in a nice impulse retracement and just looking for another impulse to the downside to go ahead and complete the TMCP pattern, the most common pattern in the market, man. Just go ahead and create a lower low following market structure. If we look at GBP USD monthly time frame pushing to the downside, and we also have this monthly candle here as well. With this monthly candle, we want to see the next ones fill in the wick. If we look at the weekly time frame, you can see that we did push down and we came back and retested previous structure support, now acting as resistance. And we want to see a continuation to the downside for the trend to just continue creating lower lows and lower highs on this market. If we look at it from a daily time frame, we can see that we've had a very aggressive retracement, but we're starting to get a very aggressive impulse as well. So we could see a possible continuation to the downside on this market for a lower low to be created, which would be a heck of a move. But if we go over AUD USD on the monthly time frame, pushing to the downside very aggressively. On the weekly, pushing to the downside very aggressively as well. Did have a retracement this week, but you can see it got rejected. And if we look at the daily time frame, we had this here. Even though we had this area right in here that we didn't want to see the market break below, or that was holding market, not that we didn't want to see it break below, but it was holding the price up above it. We have now gotten this close below this area. More than likely within the next hour, this candle will close the way it is, which will provide us for an opportunity to look for the impulse to finish, the retracement to come, and then the next impulse to come. So that could possibly happen over next week. We got USD Cad as well on the monthly time frame, pushing to the upside. Started the retracement, starting to get rejected as well. On the weekly, started the retracement, rejecting the retracement as well. And then if we look at the daily time frame, this is what we were looking at from the higher time frames, was this retracement just getting rejected and starting its move to the upside. So we could see further trend continuation to the upside as well. For me, I would need to see the market break above some of these areas in here, and then come back for a retracement for the continuation. We have Nzd Usd making moves to the downside, came back for some retracement, but it looked like it retested previous structure support that should now act as resistance. If we look at it on the weekly time frame, you can see the retracement did come back and got extremely rejected to the downside. And if we look at the daily, you can see the moves starting to happen, as we do want to see a move to the downside. But first, for us to participate, at least swing terms, at least on swing terms, we need to see a break below this area. And then on the retracement, we could look for the continuation to the downside. USDCHF monthly time frame pushing to the upside very aggressively. You know that this is my ideal picture perfect pair to go ahead and emulate this idea. So we've had the impulse to the upside, and this is on the monthly. We've had a nice and easy slow retracement coming back, retesting previous structure resistance that should now act as support. And on the monthly, the most powerful time frame, we're looking to make the move to the upside for a higher high to be created. So just imagine knowing all this information, how I can attack the market, knowing exactly where the market's going to go and what it's supposed to act like. But if we look at the weekly time frame, you can see that we're starting to break above some weekly structure, some weekly resistance right in this area. And if we do get some sort of retracement, we can look for the continuation to the upside. If we look at it on the daily time frame, you can see that we did come back for some complex correction after we broke to the upside, tried to make another move, rejected, failed to create a lower low, and now we're starting to make a move to the upside once again. Could possibly give us a pattern like this. Hopefully you know what that is. This is the W pattern. We want to see the pattern complete at the neckline, and then from there we'd be in a good situation to look for the continuation to the upside as well. And that is USDCHF. If we go down to USDJPY on the monthly, pushing to the upside very aggressively. If we look at the weekly, we're pushing to the upside very aggressively as well. A lot of momentum, extreme momentum. If we look at the daily time frame, you can see that we've had resistance all in this area. And if we get a nice and easy established break above this area on the retracement, we could look for the possible continuation to the upside. Now we can go ahead and slide down to Bitcoin. And if we look at BTC USD from the monthly time frame, you can see that I've been talking about this area as well. Previous structure resistance now turns support on this side. We want to see it used as support. Just simple market structure. If we look at the weekly time frame, you can see on the weekly, we did come into this area and find some support, not only once but twice. We're starting to make a move up with these candles here, with these weekly candles. Looks like a failed retracement on these moves up, but the market is still continuing to make moves as the candles are printing that color. We've recently broken above some daily structure on the daily time frame. So now that we've had higher highs and higher lows, we would expect that this would be a higher low. So I would expect for the market within the next 4 hours or so to go ahead and close this candle, not as bullish as it is. If it does, then obviously I'm not looking for a move to the upside anymore. But if it starts to retrace a little bit, come back, kind of sit on this zone, it could be a possible opportunity for a continuation to the upside. Short term, nothing long term yet. Nothing long term yet. I still believe that within 2024 we will see the move that everyone is expecting to happen, push to the upside in 2024. That's when the next halving event will happen, which is exactly what happened over here, which propelled the market all the way up to these all-time highs. So until then, I expect the market just to act like a normal market in the crypto space. Just not too many gains, not too much losses at any one point, but a really, really volatile pair until we get around the halving event time where the market will, I believe, start to explode to the upside once again. But that's really much it. That will conclude everything. Once again, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, in between 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be going live, just doing exactly what we did here, answering some questions in the chat if you do have those as well. But other than that, I hope you're having a profitable day on and off the charts. And I hope you all have a great and safe weekend as well. Thank you.